Welcome back. I have a kitty cat in my lap. Hey, you pumpkin. Say hi to everyone, pumpkin. Obviously, if you've been paying attention for the last week or so, it's not my cat. I'm cat sitting for a friend right now. She'll be back tomorrow, actually. Yes, your mom's going to be back tomorrow. But until then, he's going to help me. Let's get him more in the frame. Yeah. Yes. Hi, welcome. Thanks for coming in. This is my pumpkin. His name is Pumpkin. He's a little piece of pumpkin pie. But anyway, you're going to help me be a visual aid, or at least a playful mascot, for talking about Luke Cage Season 2. Obviously, as I said, I never had Netflix for the longest time. My girlfriend has it, so we were watching, and I was getting caught up in all the Netflix stuff. And so a while back, and these are all pretty late now. Pumpkin's like, no, I want to get more comfortable. You pay attention to me. Stop talking to the machine. Just pet me and love me. And I almost made a mistake there. And watching the Marvel shows as it was. So I've been going through them, and we're on Luke Cage. I'm just going to adjust that again. There we go. And he'll be back in my lap eventually. We got through Luke Cage Season 2 a little while ago. Now, my review for Luke Cage Season 1 is already up. If you want my thoughts on that, you can get my thoughts on that. I liked it. The first half is a lot better than the second half. The second half's okay, though. The Diamondbacks Alpha, oh my god, that was bad. Now, that being said, what's the best way for me to put this? It still had a lot of potential to it as a series. Going into Luke Cage Season 2, particularly because all the Season 2s of all the series happened after Defenders. Except for Punisher. Punisher Season 1 happened after Defenders, which is weird. Either way. And I'll say this. If we're looking at the season as a whole compared to Season 1, then I will say that, if we're taking the amount of good and the bad in Season 1, evening it out, displacing it for what's the best way for me to put it? Space out the good and bad, even it out to whatever Season 1 ultimately amounted to. And do the same thing for Season 2. I will say that Season 2 remained a lot more consistent with its tone and story. And on that regard, I'll say that Season 2 probably was a little better than Season 1 because of consistency. But that said, if you're talking about the high points versus the low points, Season 1 was better. What I say is the problem I'm finding with this Season 2? Because there's still good stuff. The actor who plays Luke Cage, he's still great. They brought his dad in, and I looked up his name. He actually recently died a few years ago. I can't remember his name, but they brought his in, and we get to see his father, and we get to see him and Luke react, and it's good interactions between them. I can say this right off the top. I think a problem I have with the season is, even though it's technically Luke's story, they didn't really know who to focus on sometimes. Part of it's what's happening with Claire, what's going on with her. Half of it's Misty Knight. Then we're focusing on Mariah, and then Shades, and then we got Bushmaster. The deal with Luke and his dad, Mariah's daughter. It's there was a lot going on in this season, and while it wasn't terribly balanced, it's oh, look at my vein here. That's just the angle. I'm like, whoa, my vein, I got huge veins. That's just the angle. Yeah, while it wasn't terrible, it was a lot. It was a lot. It was quite a bit, actually. I'm like, okay, we're dealing with this. Okay, we're dealing like that. Can we focus on 2 or 3 things, not 5 or 6? So that became a problem for me. Another problem that stood out to me is who? Okay, we got Shades and Mariah. They're still up to no good. And Mariah's clearly gone in deep to the gangster lifestyle at this point. She's fully embraced who she is while still denying who she still denounces like her I think adoptive mother it wasn't her actual mother, like denouncing them and trying to do the best she can with her own merit, but it's clear she's no better than she is. But at the same time, it's like, okay, well, Mariah though isn't the main villain of the season, is she? Because we also got Bushmaster, who, I'll say this, Cottonmouth was awesome. Cottonmouth was a great villain. Mahershala Ali is amazing. Diamondback was not a good villain. Like, Diamondback was kind of weird. Like, seriously, awkward and weird. Bushmaster is definitely a step up, several steps up, I'd actually say, from Diamondback, but he's not a Cottonmouth. And I think what stems from that is Cottonmouth, first off, had a lot of swagger to him, had a lot of charm, knew how to present himself in public. He had a legitimate face to him while still having the ugly face to him, the crime side of him. Also, I mean, and nothing against any of the actors. Mahershala Ali is just a great actor. But he also, there was a tragedy to him too. He clearly, he didn't want the life that he had. Or he didn't initially want the life that he ultimately had. He wanted, to be a musician. His uncle encouraged him, but that didn't work out, unfortunately. So there's a level of understanding of why what happened to him happened and kind of feeling sorry for him. Diamondback, you don't get that. Diamondback, you know what happened to him, but for some reason you just don't like the guy at all. Cottonmouth you liked. Despite the fact he was the bad guy, you liked him. He had charm, he had suave, he had class to him. Diamondback was just a jackass. He was just an angry little brother. It's like, oh, my mother, have revenge. It's like, again, you didn't get it. Why he's a villain, like, you shouldn't be hurting people, but you still understood it to some degree. It's just, it didn't work. Bushmaster worked for me for, I want to say, the first half of the season. Kind of like how Cottonmouth was working for me, or kind of like how the first half of the season 1 of Luke Cage was working for me. For around the first half, I'm liking Bushmaster. I like first of all, I like the fact he's Jamaican. I like the accent. Like the accent's cool. I don't know if the accent's actually Jamaican. He has the accent, or he just put it on. Either way, it was a good accent. I also like that he was similar to Luke, but with a different method of being similar to Luke. Like, he could take hits, he could heal, but it was through like a ritual of some kind. So he wasn't quite as bulletproof as Luke was. Like, bullets didn't just bounce off him. They embedded in him, but he was so tough because of what he did, he could just force them out, which was really cool. I like that. And he was clearly a better fighter than Luke was too. Though, to be fair, he blindsided Luke on the street. So there was that, but at the same time, it was clear he kind of, when him and Luke squared off in a fair fight, he did ultimately kind of get the better of Luke, or Luke got the better of him, and he cheated. But yeah, he could still hold his own in a physical confrontation with Luke, which, when we get to Luke, find out that Luke is actually much tougher in this season than he was in the previous one, most likely from the process that was used to actually heal him up, and probably strengthen his abilities. It's impressive they could go toe to toe with Luke, absolutely, and their actual duking it out scenes are actually pretty fun. The problem I have with Bushmaster is the concept, Mariah must burn. Mariah's like, okay, I get it. You stole the club. You didn't have any legal, you didn't have any legal precedent to do that. That's why you lost it. But you stole the club from her. You took her livelihood. She's in jail and all that, and things aren't going for her. And yet he's still so hell bent on making sure that Mariah pays. It's like, you can't see the forest for the trees, even when the trees are in their own yards. Like, dude, you won. It's like, enough. It's like, please, just enough. It's like, right, Pumpkin? Seriously. So It's like, oh, you're a silly boy. You're a silly boy. You're so attention starved right now. Again, don't worry. Your mom's gonna be home tomorrow. I'll be here in the morning to feed you, but your mom will be home tomorrow. So, yeah, after a while, it's like the repeated trope with this guy really just started to strike like okay, I get it. You hate Mariah. She's pretty much just done. You can kind of stop it. Nope, he's got to keep going. After a while, that just started to get really irritating with that character. Mariah also, in the first season, Mariah and Shades is still likable. But Mariah and Shades, again, Shades is similar to Cottonmouth in that he had a lot of cool as Swab. But again, you played by the rules. There used to be, as he says later in the season, there used to be rules to this. But then, it went out the window when this happened. In this season, man, they make Mariah really unlikable. And I mean, I get it. She's the bad guy. She's one of the villains. She's like, but she is just a nasty, mean, unpleasant woman. And everyone's kind of saying the same thing about her too. But still, I mean, her and Shades, man, they doing it. They hitting each other. It's all good. And at one point, apparently he fully says that he loved her. He was in love with her. And it's like, were you ever really? And when she's in jail, she actually asked the questions like, were you ever really in love with me? It's like, did you ever really love me? And he just says like, I still do. I still love you. I still want you. It's like, nah, those scenes with them when they're actually, because they're a couple basically. Those scenes with them, it's like, oh yeah, I can buy them also. I can buy that there was legitimate affection between them, surprisingly. So I can buy that. Yeah, definitely. But one of the other big problems is Luke's character. He starts to see himself above the law. And look, I get it. Daredevil. Oh boy, you're close digging in there, buddy. Daredevil, on some level, sees himself above the law. Luke at least kind of works within some of the boundaries of the law, but he clearly is on a bit of a power trip in his own right. Because, again, the police can't do what he does. It's understandable they think, I can do something that the police can't do. So I'm going to, go and clean up the streets. I get that. But at the same time, it's one of those things where it's like, dude, you used to be a cop, man. You know how much the effort the cops are putting into this. And you're completely crapping on what they're doing. Even if they're not doing quite what they should be in terms of the effort they're putting in or, the results they're getting. You don't have the right to be playing judge and jury. Luckily, he's not playing executioner either. But still, it's one of those things. Just Luke gets to be a bit of a pain in the ass in this season. Not as much as someone like think words here. Like Mariah, where you kind of just don't like Mariah that much. Luke is hit and miss. Like Luke still has that likable personality a bit in him, certainly, but it's kind of not gone the way of doing it, but it's kind of sidetracked for his more douchey personality traits. So yeah, it's a little, I don't know. Luke suffers a bit as a character in this. Plus, when you get to the end of the season, and he's basically now the one who's in charge of the club, did not like that ending. I know he makes a cameo. Spoilers, if you haven't watched Jessica Jones Season 3. I know he makes a cameo in Jessica Jones Season 3. I don't think he's actually doing anything, though, apart from talking to Jessica a little bit. So, I don't know. I just didn't dig on that. And then, I will say this, though. I will say this. There are two things that I really did enjoy. One is the Misty Knight storyline, where she finally gets her bionic arm. Colleen is with her, and they're dealing, and they have a bar fight, and she kicks some guy's ass with her arm. She gets the bionic arm finally, and you get Misty Knight there, like the legitimate Misty Knight. She's got the prosthetic arm, and she's kicking ass. Misty's got a great storyline throughout this series. I like the character to begin with. I thought the actress played it great in both seasons. Actually, she was in, if I'm remembering correctly, she's in Luke Cage season 1, She's in Defenders. Is she in Iron Fist season 1 or is it? I know she's in season 2. I can't remember if she's in season 1. And she's in Luke Cage season. She's in 4 of those series. That's impressive. And then the Heroes for Hire episode, which actually showed Danny Rand in a pretty solid light for a change. Like he's got a lot of charisma, surprisingly, in this episode. Him and Luke work really well off each other. It was a metaphorical dragon, right? It's like, no, real dragon. But puts my hand through his heart. Okay. Yeah, the Heroes for Hire episode. See, what I was hoping with like a lot of people was when they announced they canceled Iron Fist and Luke Cage, I was hoping, before realizing that they were also canceling Jessica Jones, they're canceling all. I'm like, oh, that's sad. But I was hoping that they were basically just going to merge them into one series, Heroes for Hire. That's what I was hoping for. Unfortunately, that's not what we ended up getting. Who knows? They got those characters back, so maybe they could make another series with them. Won't be able to use the same actors, at least not until whatever rights Netflix has on those series lapses. And even then, at that point, I think it'll just recast. Still, though, that was a solid episode. Ultimately, Luke Cage season 2, it's consistently better than the first season, but if you're asking me to rate like the good and the bad, I will say I like the first season, I think, a bit more. I just like the villain. Cottonmouth's a better villain. He's in at least half the season. Luke Cage, adapting to Harlem. I think that was really good. Misty, Claire, that's all real good. Pops, before he dies, I think, in the second episode, which sucks. That was all real good. Oh, Misty's partner, played by, look at the big Brad. I'm Brad. I don't remember the actor's name, but I always know that actor to see him. He was Brad in Pulp Fiction. You a smart motherfucker? That's right. That's right, Luke Cage. And I love that character. So yeah, I would say that season 1 I think is ultimately better. But if you want better like overall consistency throughout the season, I would say that Luke Cage is the better season. Luke Cage season 2 is better in terms of just consistent quality. There's no one episode that is like the worst episode. Yeah, there's no one episode that's worse than the worst episode of season 1, I'd say. But there's no one episode that's better than the best episode of season 1. So yeah, that's why it kind of just falls in a consistent. It's all right. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Luke Cage season 2. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll review it at some point. Ideas for who would win, Star Wars, Superhero, Magic, what if, anything to do with the channel. Put that in the comments below. Let me know. I'll get to that at some point. The next one of these I'm going to do is Iron Fist season 2, and then Punisher season 2, and then I just got to watch Jessica Jones season 3. I think I'm going to wait until I get to reviewing Punisher season 2 before I talk about Jessica Jones, before I start watching Jessica Jones season 3. So I'm going to hold off on that. Until then, though, thanks for watching. Hope we enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. We've got little cuts now. Thanks to you. Pumpkins can be sharp kids. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll see you next time. Hit that bell if you want notifications. And honestly, I don't know what order I'm putting these up in today. So I'm pre-recording, obviously, for Sunday. I do not know what order I'm going to put these in. So either I'm going to have 1, 2 other videos coming out, or that is it for the videos today. We'll find out. Till then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Later.